Hello there. My name is Yatunde Biola and welcome to this session. Topic for today is looking for ancestors in Jamaica, how to go about it. First of all, we will talk about setting the context, the importance of background information for our research. Secondly, we'll be talking about first basic steps to embark us on our research. And then lastly, I'll be talking about what next, the big question, where do we go from here? So why are you searching? There are many reasons why people look for long lost relatives or distant ancestors. Right now, you may just be kickstarting your search, or you may have some experience and already be researching your family tree. You may even be a professional, have paid clients, but don't have enough expertise to find Jamaican ancestors or Jamaican relatives for your clients. You may have done a DNA test and you have a percentage of African, Chinese or Indian in your DNA makeup. And now you're being contacted by a Jamaican relative. You never knew you had a connection with Jamaica. Or you were adopted and you're now searching for your Jamaican biological parent or parents. Or you are African, Asian, or European, but you have an unknown branch of the family that have been living for generations in Jamaica. Setting the context, adding a bit of background to help with our research. Now we're going to have a quick overview of Jamaica's history. Early inhabitants to Jamaica were the Taino, Arawak and Carib Indians. The Spanish arrived in 1494. In 1655, the English claimed Jamaica, and that marked the first set of enslaved Africans transported to Jamaica to work on the plantations. Slavery continued for 2 centuries and was finally abolished in 1808 and officially outlawed in 1838. Jamaica got its independence from the British in 1962. Out of many, one people. That's the motto, the Jamaican motto that was adopted in 1962 as a tribute to the different cultures and communities you can find in Jamaica. Out of many, one people. This is the Jamaican coat of arms, and I'll explain quite briefly what everything means. So there's the pineapple. Here in the basket, the lady's carrying the pineapple. Also here on the coat of arms, you can find the pineapple features as well. It's native fruit of Jamaica. The Tainos, both of the people here are from Taino, and Tainos were the first inhabitants in Jamaica. The crocodile, here right on top, also a native animal of Jamaica. And then there's the royal helmet and mantling, signs of British legacy and presence in Jamaica. And now quickly to the ethnic breakdown. So Jamaica is a country of different cultures and communities, but the majority are Africans or people of African descent. So 90.9% African, mixed race 7.3%, East Indian 1.3%, European and Chinese 0.2%, and others 0.1%. The African diaspora, people of African descent living outside Africa. It's very important I take a few minutes to explain how Africans came to live in the Americas and the Caribbean and also parts of Europe. So the transatlantic slave trade was the transportation of an estimated 12 million enslaved Africans from their homeland, Africa. They were brought to work unpaid on plantations in the Caribbean and the Americas. Now here, if you follow the arrows, this is Africa. This is the part of Africa where most of the enslaved people came from. And if you follow the arrows, you'll see where they go. So all of the arrows originating from Africa, going to different parts of the world, mostly to the Americas, the Caribbean, parts of South America. Some voyages went to Europe, and others went probably by land via the Sahara into Europe and very likely to the Middle East. So this is the transatlantic slave voyages explained. So hopefully this would clarify things for people who weren't sure or didn't quite know. The arrival of settlers and migrants to the island. So apart from the enslaved Africans that came to the island to work, there were other people in different capacities and different roles and for different reasons who came to Jamaica to live and to work. So apart from the earlier people like the navigators and the explorers and the pirates, there were also later on the military, British military and Navy personnel. There were government officials, there were missionaries and Protestants, there were fortune seekers and merchants, there were traders and industrialists, transported people, indentured workers from Africa and India and China who came later on when slavery was abolished. But this gives you an idea of how your ancestor would have probably arrived to Jamaica and probably had a relationship, and then that's how the connection could be. But this is just to give you an idea of what was going on so that you can understand when you search and know where to look for your ancestor. The Jamaican diaspora. So these are Jamaicans who live outside of the island. So they live in other parts of the world. So today Jamaicans are based all over the world, mostly in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and other Caribbean islands. But you can find Jamaicans also in Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and the Honduras. So there are many things we need to keep in mind when we're doing our research and when we're looking for our Jamaican relative. And one of the most important things is oral history. It's very important that we interview family, but it's also very, very important that we make sure that we are sensitive and respectful in how we do it. Also, asking too many questions all at once can be intrusive and often resented. There are many reasons for this. It could be that they don't understand why you're searching. It could be there are things they'd like to forget, or there have been traumatic things happen in the past. So it's very important to be very mindful. Relationships are key. They're very important because without trust and good family rapport, you won't get any results. But if you have their trust and relate well with them, it will yield dividends. Branches of your Jamaican family may have since migrated to other Caribbean islands. That's something to keep in mind. So someone can be born and raised in Jamaica, but at some stage they would have gone to another island to work, or they married, or to study. So it's very important that you keep your searches open and keep your mind open to other possibilities. FamilySearch and Jamaican FamilySearch are two portals that are excellent ways of starting your research. They're free to use and they're crammed with lots of information and resources. The internet itself is has lots of very useful online resources, which I will talk about later and which you will also find in your handouts, which you can download. It's very important to remember that in Jamaica, most people have a nickname. They call it pet names. So you'd get a name like Budsy and Dolly and things like that, which is fine. But when it's time to look for your relatives' documents or to do some research, that is not what's going to be written on those documents. So it's very important that you ask your relatives their real name, or ask the relatives the real name of great-great-grandmama. Apart from Dolly, what was her name? So you need the details in order to get the right documents, in order to put your story together. Be super aware of the variations in the spellings of names as well, particularly surnames. So here's an example. Cohen is often written as Cowan. It's the same family, but someone decided to spell it differently, or a mistake was made on the documents. Schmeichel, 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 different versions of spelling, all meaning the same thing. Church and religion is very important in Jamaican society. Church and mission records are a vital source of information, and it's available at the archives and also online on FamilySearch. If you cannot find documents for your relative in one parish, try looking in one of the neighboring parishes. Family members moved around a lot, especially in the earlier years, usually for work and opportunities, and at times due to something as simple as drought, water. So they'd be living perhaps in Trelawney, where water could be scarce. They'd move to where water was. So you probably find some children born in Manchester and then some people born in the parishes of St. Anne, solely because they moved home quite often. Remember, as I said before, to be mindful and aware of the feelings of others. Ask permission before you use their data. Very important things to keep in mind. First steps. Now, for someone just embarking on their research, this is really very useful. For people who have experience, they've done that before. This would just serve as a reminder. But oral history, again, as I repeat, interviewing relatives is key. You get your basic information, you get something on which to make a foundation, and you can work from there. It's a kickstart to your research. Get a DNA test. If you've come to a brick wall, or you really get no information whatsoever from relatives, get a DNA test done. That will at least get you some matches where you could get the story that you need from someone else, or the information that you need from another member of an extended family. Your family tree. It's very important to start from the get-go to build your family tree. Document it. So you can either use some of the free tools that are available in Genie or FamilySearch or other platforms, or you could just get a large piece of paper and start to write. But document it. It's very important because you need that to build. Research groups and forums are many. You need to join as many of these groups and forums as you can, because there you can get good leads, there you can learn, collaborate, meet new people, and network. Useful resources. I'm just mentioning a few here. On the handout, you'll see much more detail. Jamaica Archives, National Archives UK have maps, colonial records, military records, immigration information, slave registers and censuses, passenger lists, and many more. It's well worth looking through their catalogues and visiting where and when you can. FamilySearch.org, excellent source of Jamaica records, birth, marriage, death, and other records. Jamaican FamilySearch, which is an online archive, is full of useful information historical information on our relatives. Social media. There are many social media and networking groups available, and they're very, very good at providing help, support, information and advice, especially when you get stuck. They can help with DNA data analysis, help you to interpret. They can help you look for elusive relatives and brick walls. They can help with cultural and social information. They can help with support with research technique and useful resources. I recommend you join the groups relevant to your search. And here are some of the Facebook groups that I recommend. Jamaica DNA Roots, Jamaica Genealogy Resources, Jamaica Colonial Heritage Society, British Jamaica Genealogy, and Jamaican Lost and Found. Excellent, excellent pages with very good support. And what next? Where do we go from here? Well, I recommend that you set up a good, reliable electronic filing system and maintain it. You will be coming across a lot of documents and a lot of information, and you need to have it organized. If you're not very good IT-wise, have it in paper, but make sure it's all organized and easy to access when and where you want it. Review your notes often. So any notes you take, keep them all in one place and review them often to see whether you have overlooked anything or simply just as a refresher. I still look at mine and I find something new every single time. Join forums and groups related to your search. They're great for support, for learning and sharing, and helping with lookups and other favors. Remember, ask questions, forge relationships and with family members, try to be creative and think outside the box, respect others, their decisions and opinions, learn, share, collaborate, and most of all, be careful with your personal information. And to conclude, I'll sum up. In this presentation, I have talked briefly about the importance of setting context, adding background and drive to your search. I've also talked about things to remember, to keep in mind when you're searching for relatives and ancestors, and also some useful resources to kickstart and add value to your research activities. Don't forget to check out the handout for the range of resources that I recommend. I hope you found this session useful. I hope it will add value to your search. And if you need to contact me, please do so. My email is info@thegenealogypiedpiper.com, or you can get me on Twitter and Facebook. Happy searching!